Good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone is good. There is a thing I would love to show you. To the bottom here, okay? To the bottom over here, you see the day and the date. So previous day was Friday, 17th January 2025. This is today, which is Tuesday. So there is no Monday candle, as you can see over here. Friday, Tuesday. So yesterday was not a trading day, though it was a little better price action, but it was not a trading day. It was holiday. This is MNQ. If you go to the NQ, you will see the same thing. Friday, then Tuesday. No Monday candle. So nothing so serious about the pre-market analysis over here. This is that relatively equal lows from daily chart. This is the high rejection block. That means this line. Let me mark a line over there. That is the rejection block is still. And let me make it black, a little wider. So let's see if it can reverse from that rejection block, or does it want to keep going higher to take that high. This is the whole intention. So I have both. I have sell side liquidity. I don't have the buy side liquidity. But if it go through this high, then I will think about that high first, then this high. This too high for the all-time high. I have to think like that way. Everything is almost same like yesterday. Nothing has changed from the daily chart. If I go to the hourly chart, now you can see this was the obvious liquidity. This high has taken over here by a shallow run, which is the obvious liquidity. If you'd love to mark from there, you can. I just mark the highest high for the obvious liquidity. Above this obvious liquidity, this is the last parabolic from hourly chart here. I just didn't mark it. You can keep it on your chart as well if you want. So here, when this high has happened yesterday, Monday, when I came to this hourly chart, now the Monday price action is showing. But if you go to the daily chart, you'll see there is no Monday candle. But from the hourly chart, it is showing the Monday price action. So this high has came here, made that relatively equal highs. Now I have clean buy side liquidity. Yesterday I had the sell side liquidity, clean sell side liquidity, this low and that low. They are the relatively equal lows. If I mark it over here, that was the sell side liquidity yesterday, and my intention to see that can market go for that sell side liquidity. So I was only interested to look for sell yesterday, not interested to look for buy. Same thing today. I'm only interested to look for buy, which is over here, this buy side liquidity, and from the daily chart, this rejection block. That rejection block. So all of them are around the same level. Yesterday market didn't tap to this rejection block, just for one handle it missed that rejection block. So let's see if it can reach to this rejection block from the daily chart and can take that relatively equal highs before falling again by tapping to this last parabolic from the hourly chart. Is it possible today or not? So my whole intention today is, can market go for that buy side liquidity? That is my only intention, because market cleared that sell side liquidity, traded that fair value gap over here. When I'll be in 15-minute chart, it will be much more easier to see. Traded that area. Now going higher, this buy side liquidity is my only intention to see, can it go for that? So if it can go for that, I'll be able to trade. If it wants to reverse, then I have to wait for a bearish gap from the hourly chart. Maybe this swing low will be shifted over here by a big run. Then maybe I'll start to think about some kind of lower run, but I don't really know how far it will fall. I will look for this rejection block from the hourly chart first, and then maybe for these lows here, this low and that low, they're the relatively equal lows as well. Maybe I'll think about that relatively equal lows later. But previously or right now, my intention to see, can it go for that buy side liquidity. Overall, I would love to look for a buy run initially. At the same time, just don't forget about the week. This week is the WEF week, so the whole week we have that things. So keep that in your mind. It's not a high probable week. Obviously, the next week is also not a high probable week. The reason is next week is also the NFP week, non-farm payroll week. So non-farm payroll week is always the low probable week, but still it is better than this week. Okay, so just an idea. If you come to this 15-minute chart, uh, this is the 15-minute last fair value gap. That was my intention to see can market reach until this area after taking that sell side liquidity, which is clean sell side liquidity over here. Here this low and that low, they are the relatively equal lows. Market perfectly fall, and that fall happened after the open. Market opened around 6, around here. Market opened there, went little higher, trade that order block, mean threshold, the 50% of that order block, trade that perfectly. You can see it over here if you just mark this candle low to high. This is the mean threshold of that order block, trade that mean threshold of that order block, fall dramatically, take that sell side liquidity, reach until this 50-minute last fair value gap. After reaching to this last fair value gap, market started to go higher, go higher, go higher. Right now market is trading over here. This is the same sell buy side liquidity, daily rejection block. Some liquidity is over here from the 15-minute chart. Some liquidity I have over there around this area, this low and that low. They're also relatively equal lows. If you'd love to mark it from here, this low and all of these lows, that can be the sell side liquidity as well. But this is not my interest to see first. I really don't want to see that it will go for that sell side liquidity. But as I told from that hourly chart, if there is a big run, shift that low with a very big run like this type of run, that type of candle, and there is a fair value gap, maybe then I'll start to think about that sell side liquidity. Otherwise, I'm really not interested to think about the fall. I'm only interested to see can market go higher and take that buy side liquidity. So my overall bias is bullish now until this buy side liquidity. All I need to see from around 9:30, it will be the Judas swing. That means market will fall a little bit. It can take that low, but by a Mickey Mouse move to take that low, then it will start to go for that buy side liquidity. That is my whole interest to see right now. It doesn't need to take that low, but if it take that low, that is also okay. But that can't be a like huge run. It will be a Mickey Mouse move, like small candle and take that low. Bear candle, bull candle, bear candle, bull candle. Like this way, it will take that low. That will be the liquidity taken. After taking that liquidity, it will start to go higher for that buy side liquidity, or it will straightly start to go for that buy side liquidity. I'm only interested to think about the buy side liquidity, not any kind of sell side liquidity, because this is not that much clean sell side liquidity to me. But obviously it can start to fall for that sell side liquidity when I have seen this whole sell side liquidity has been taken by that run, trade that 50-minute last fair value gap. This buy side liquidity is much more convenient to me to think about the buy down. This is yesterday's price action around here. This low, let me mark it. This low and that low, that was a shallow run. So I told that this is my next liquidity yesterday, okay, before closing my session. That was my sell side liquidity here around this area, and below this sell side liquidity I had this last fair value gap over here. That was the last fair value gap yesterday. Over there, that was the last fair value gap. So that was the unfilled fair value gap. I wanted to see that it will be unfilled over here. I'd love to talk about this little bit. I wanted to see this will be unfilled before tapping some specific area. Before tapping to take this liquidity or the last fair value gap, I wanted to see this will be unfilled. When it has been filled over there, I told that I'm only interested to look for sell, but I prefer the breaker block instead of 22 YT model, because this is the area where breaker block works most of the time. Okay, here if you remember, there was an reclaimed fair value gap. We talked about this reclaimed fair value gap over here, and is that reclaimed? Yeah, that was the reclaimed fair value gap. And above this reclaimed fair value gap, I told that if this market would love to go little higher, it can trade this order block. This whole order block can be traded. So finally market went through this unfilled gap, trade that reclaimed fair value gap, violate this reclaimed fair value gap 50% just to trade that order block one more time. After trading that, when this candle appeared on the market, that specific candle, I will start to look for breaker block, which is high, low, higher high. Then market will shift that low, trade that low, it will fall for that sell side liquidity. I mean, that sell side liquidity, that was my interest to see yesterday. So if you take a closer look over here, this is the first time when I got lower low here. So same thing here. If you take a look, closer look, low, lower low. It should be like this: low, lower low, low, lower low. But this candle was the breaker block. Market never closed below this candle, so it was not validated as a breaker block. Then you will see there is no other lower low except this one. So this was the next lower low, which has validated this breaker block. So if you mark this breaker block like high, low, higher high, then market made the lower low. So in overall low, high, lower low, this is the lowest candle. Market trade that lower candle, it will fall for this sell side liquidity. The same thing I just marked over here, this is the same thing over there. And if you are patient enough, you will see that this is the first time when market has validated this candle as a breaker block. Now I will start to look for the breaker block when I will see this unfilled gap. So this breaker block entry is going to create from that area. All of this area is going to make this breaker block. I just can't simply look for the breaker block. It's not my interest to look for the breaker block. I will look for this unfilled gap, and when the market will make the unfilled gap 100% filled by leaving some sell side liquidity. If there is no sell side liquidity, no breaker block is valid to me. So when this unfilled gap has been filled, this is the lowest down close body close candle, which I would love to mark as a breaker block here. So I will mark it as a breaker block. And when this candle appeared and closed below this breaker block for the second time, this is the first time, sorry, for the first time market tapped to this breaker block over there. So my entry would be, if it is inside the session, okay, here, and I have to cover the inverse gap above the breaker block, whatever bull gap I will get. So here I have the bull gap over there. I have to cover it just to make sure that if the mohawk happened, mohawk means market will go little above the breaker block. The wick can go, the body also can go little above the breaker block. This mohawk can reach until the inverse gap. So I have to cover that inverse gap over there. That can be the first partial, this relatively equal loss, which is over here. That is that relatively equal loss. That can be the first partial, which is near about 20 handle. Obviously logical to take the partial, and then you can hold your trade until this sell side liquidity. If you are overzealous, then you can look for that last parabolic gap, as you have already taken the partial over there. But that partial should be taken over here. Whatever partial you would love to take, you have to take that partial over here. So I just closed my trade, session around this area, and I told that I'm just not interested to think about the buy. I'm not going to take the buy. If there is a selling opportunity, I'll try to catch that sell opportunity. And my selling opportunity, I always prefer the breaker block, which will provide me at least 95% of the winning rate. Almost 95% of the time this breaker block work the way I explained the breaker block. So that was the breaker block entry if it is inside the session. Or yesterday was half day. That means market was open until 150 or 130. I don't remember how long it was open. I think it was open. Okay, here this is the last candle. So it was open until 12:59. That means before 1 it has closed. That is the last candle. So until 12:59 it was open yesterday. Before that, market just tapped to this breaker block here, retest this breaker block one more time, fall, took that sell side liquidity, which we are interested to see, trade that fair value gap, last fair value gap from 1 minute chart, reject from there, closed around this area, just closed it over here. This is how yesterday worked. So I hope that it was an insightful session for some of you. If you think that it was insightful, don't forget to take the notes. So this all sell side liquidity has been taken and everything has done. Then market opened around 6 p.m. Market went little higher, as I showed you from 15-minute chart. It has traded the 50-minute last fair value gap. If in other word, this was the entry gap from 1 minute chart, or the first presented gap. If you remember, that was that gap over there. Market has traded that gap one more time after opening. Trade that entry gap or the last gap. Any of these will be traded. So from 15-minute chart, min threshold, from 1 minute chart, entry gap. Trade that entry gap, started to fall. Look at that drama over here. It was just falling, 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 cleared all of the sell side liquidity, trade that 15-minute last fair value gap. If you go to 1-minute chart here, this is too messy over here, too messy price action over there. But either way, from 15-minute chart, it was a very clean sell side, last fair value gap over here, trade that gap, started to go higher, and this is the whole London session. I didn't see the London session, what happened, just before the stream open, I see that the London session, the way I told, it works perfectly like that way. Around 1 to 6 p.m. I would love to look for some kind of relatively equal lows. So this is that candle which has appeared around 12:30, then come back again closer to that low which is relatively equal lows, trade that fair value gap over here. This is that fair value gap. It has been traded that fair value gap perfectly. This low has been traded that fair value gap. After making this relatively equal lows over there, market started to go higher. If you go to your 1-minute chart and around 2 p.m. So this is around 2 p.m. exact 2 p.m. candle is over here, exact 2 p.m. candle, fall, take all of this liquidity, relatively equal lows has been taken, made the relatively equal lows with that low, made the relatively equal lows, shifted the market structure shift over here, fair value gap, which is entry gap, this is the breakaway gap. If you would love to mark both of them, so from here to I have to cover the volume balance. I'm just not going to cover the volume balance, just going to mark the fair value gap. But I have to cover the volume balance as well. So if you mark until the volume imbalance, you will see that 50% has been perfectly respected, but would love to keep it until there. And this is the entry gap, which is around this area. This is the entry gap around 2 p.m. 2 a.m. Immediate reaction by that specific candle. Would love to cover. The candle has taken the liquidity. This has taken the liquidity. Now, as if I cover that on, it's gonna be 19 handles. So I would love to make it at least 15 handles because my target is 15 handles. So it will be 1:1. So from there to until this 15 handle here, that could be the London session entry from that area to that area. It is restricted. You can't go more than 15 handle. Yeah, you obviously can go more than 15 handle, but make sure that you have taken the partial around 15 handle and put your stop loss to the break even. Then how long you want to hold your trade, it's up to you. I have no problem with that. But the 15 handle should be the partial because most of the time the London session is low volatile. 15 handle is huge for London session. That could be the London session entry. If anyone is interested about that logic, you can work with that logic. And then market fall until this area, then fall little bit, came around this area. If you take a closer look over here after 6:30, so this is that 6:30 candle, market went little higher, fall, taken that relatively equal lows, this low and that low, they are the relatively equal lows over here. After taking that relatively or cleared that relatively equal lows, I would love to start to look for the 7 a.m. entry. Then market started to go higher. This is an extreme run. If I were here, obviously I wouldn't go for that entry from this gap. But when I got this market structure shift over here, okay, I will see that this fair value gap will be my another entry around 7 a.m. Why you guys are very interested to see the market open? It will be like so much choppy here. Don't worry about the market open. It will be so much choppy. After 3 holiday, if you'd love to trade around the morning session, you should trade by your own risk. After 3 days, 3 holidays. By the way, as I told, my only interested to look for that buy side liquidity. So I will look for that buy side liquidity. If it provide me that buying opportunity, maybe I'll go for that buy. Again, this is gonna be the lowest probable area to trade. So make sure that you're not in rush. And obviously today is Tuesday, WEF week. Just keep holding. Okay, around 9:30 market opened and until now there is no first presented gap. There is a huge opening gap over there. This sell side liquidity has been over here. Okay, let it keep it there. My only interest is to look for this market to go for that buy side liquidity. If it happens, then maybe I'll be able to look for some kind of entries. This is the opening gap. Friday close, Tuesday open. Friday close, Tuesday open. This is the opening gap. It's okay, Jack T. No, if nobody care, I mean, focus. It's okay. If you think like if I think to trade right now after the open, after 3 holidays, most of the time I'll be chopped out. Most of the time, because 3 days was holiday. Last 3 days I was not able to trade. So now I got market open. What I will do, whatever I will get, I'll just enter over there. I want to see some kind of Judas swing first. That means market will fall a little bit, maybe until the 50% of that opening gap. Then it will start to go higher. That is the best case of scenario, and I'd love to look for that things. In this type of situation, that can be the last parallel gap. And by the way, I'm curious to know how did Tamimi got uh oh okay, so if you just write down like explanation mark and the points, they will show you the points. Okay, I didn't know that. It can be so much choppy around the beginning of the session. Okay, so please don't rush over here. Just keep wait for some kind of a specific thing, and then I hope that it can be a little better around the PM session. We'll look for the first presented gap, if it can provide us 25 handle or not. Just for that, we'll see first presented gap. See if it can make the first presented gap. All of this fall, I will count that as a Judas swing. Not interested to touch it right now. At least I'm seeing this as a Judas swing. We'll wait at least until 10 a.m. The reason is 3 days were holiday. So after 3 holidays, just not interested to take parties. I mean, I don't want to participate in this price action after 3 holidays. So far from 15-minute chart, it has taken that liquidity. That low has been taken. So liquidity has been taken. Can it go higher now? But for the first time, it will come to this first presented gap. I will look for the 25 handle. Can it provide me that or not? In the meantime, whoever would love to trade, whatever you want to take, buy, sell, like whatever you would love to do, please go for that. Jack has the highest point, I believe. Imbalance on first fair value gap. What do you mean by that? Imbalance on first fair value gap, Outlander. What does it mean? I will wait until 10 a.m. New York local time to at least to take my first decision. At least until 10 a.m. This is the 8:30 open. This is the midnight open. So if market can go little below that midnight open, that is deep discount. Here now it is in deep discount. That is the midnight open. Both 8:30 open and midnight open. Market is below those area. Oh, okay. There is a volume balance. Sorry. Yeah, I'll mark it from the volume balance. Thank you, Outlander. Just think about that. Like think like this way, okay? Let me show you this. So you have finished your trading in Friday for 14. Now you have opened your chart and you saw that market opened, started to fall. What you will do? Obviously, you will start to think that this market is going to take all of these lows, it is going to take that on. So you will start to chase the price, you will start to look for the sell. I'm not interested to look for the sell because after 3 holiday when market started to fall without any kind of uh, what's I mean any kind of correction, it is keep falling. Almost every single one of them will start to look for sell. Even if I were a retail trader, I was also thinking the same way. Oh, okay, market opened, started to fall, so it will keep falling. Let's take sell. Let's take sell. Just I'm not interested to take sell over here. I'd love to look for some kind of buying opportunity. If it can provide me some kind of buying opportunity, I'll try to take that buy until it doesn't prove me wrong or it will keep falling, falling, falling. This is the midnight open. Market just went little below that midnight open, and obviously after 8:30, here this is that 8:30 open, market went higher, fall here. Can it go higher again? It is in deep discount now. Can it go for the premium now? That is my intention to see. In the meantime, if any of you would love to look for sale, please go for that. I have no problem if you would love to look for sale. I'll go for the trade after 10 a.m. New York local time or around 10 a.m. New York local time, not before that. Okay. I didn't mark this week new week opening gap just because it is like 10 to 11 handles. So far I remember it was a very small new week opening gap. That is why I didn't mark new week opening gap from this week. But obviously it has the value. You can mark it if you want. You can keep it on your chart. I don't have, I didn't see any value to that gap, so I didn't mark it. All of the people who chase the price over here, they are going to be punished because it was the Judas swing. You have to understand that Judas swing things. Okay, it didn't provide that entry. That's nice. By the way, for the first time it tapped to this first presented gap, I wanna see can it provide me 25 handle, at least 25 handle. So until this area, it will be 25 handle. Can it provide me 25 handle or not? Okay, it's at the top of this parallel gap, at the top. So if you take it from there, this is here. Stop loss should be here. Stop loss, I don't care. Like, let me check it. 25 handle. This is the first presented gap entry, and this is the next entry opportunity from there, from here to until the 50% of that gap. Sell from the first presented gap for 25 handle, buy from this fair value gap until the 50% of this first presented gap, sell from there, buy from here. I'm not now bullish, I'm always bullish, but my entry, I will take my entry after 10. until 10 I'm not interested to take the entries. I want to see that this fair value gap will hold the market and send it higher, at least for the 50% of that first presented gap. So from this area to until that area, remove this one, at least until the 50% of that gap. So from there to there, the stop loss should be below the candle which has made this gap, because this is the gap. This is the gap that should hold the market and send the market at least until the 50% of that gap, of this first presented gap. And I really appreciate the immediate reaction. As you can see, it has been immediately react from this parallel gap at least until the 50%, and then it will keep falling or going higher. We'll see that from there until the 50%. To the low, I'm not convinced, so it has to reach at least until the 50%, which is exactly over here. I'm not looking for sell. If any of you would love to look for sell, and if you think that this is a selling opportunity, go for that. I can't look for sell. I'm not interested to look for sell. I'm only interested to look for buy. And you know that buy side liquidity is over here, 21806.25. I would love to hold my trade or hold my bias until this area. So it's up to you. If you would love to look for sell, you can go for that. Well, that could be a loss. I'll look for entry if and I'm sorry, only after 10. Before 10, I'm not interested to push my button. Reason, after 3 holiday in the morning session, first half an hour can be like sudden move like this. Look at that candle. How much is that candle? That one single candle is like 72 handle. It is like very unusual, and I don't want to chop up in this type of situation. So I will wait until 10 and then I will take my decision. Until 10, no entry is valid for me. I am not interested to look for any kind of entry opportunity until 10. Except the first presented gap, it is different, you know. For the first presented gap, I don't need kind of nothing. Just nothing. No fair value gap, no direction, no bias, nothing. Made the first presented gap, can it provide me 25 handle? That's all I would love to look from the 25, I mean from the first presented gap. If you're interested to trade, make sure that you're not pushing your button before 10. At least wait until 10. This also liquidity is taken. Would love to see can it take that on. From the 15-minute chart, this is that low. Can it take that low? It doesn't need to take that low. So sell side liquidity has been taken already. The sell side liquidity has been taken already. This is that opening gap has been 100% filled over here. Trading opening gap has been filled over here 100%. Buy side was already taken before open. What are you talking about, Manu? Trump wake up. It can be. It can be. Maybe Trump wake up. Maybe 40 handle candle, 46 handle candle. So just don't force the market. Wait a bit until 10 at least. Then maybe we'll find a good buying opportunity. I'm only interested to look for buy. I'm not interested to look for sell. But obviously, if you think that this market is going to fall, maybe from this fair value gap, I don't know. Maybe you want to take a sell. This market will keep falling. Go for that sell. I will take my decision after 10 and I will just will look for buy. I am not interested to look for sell even if the whole day market is keep falling. So if you are with me for so long now, you already know that my bias, my direction, how accurate it is. So I will work with my accuracy or accurate price direction. I am not going to change my analysis even if it keep falling. I'll look for buy only, buying opportunity only. Can it work as an order block? This is my first intention to see can it work as an order block now. It will fall little bit, give me the market structure shift with that high. First it will fall little bit, then give me the market structure shift with that high. There will be a fair value gap after 10. That will be my entry. By target will be this first presented gap, 50% will be my first partial, and then I'll look for this relatively equal highs. Something like that. That is my plan. Okay. Well, Mano, if the buy side is taken and if you think that this market will keep falling, go for sell, brother. Whatever your bias is, follow that bias. Don't change your bias because I'm looking for sell. Please don't change your bias. If you think that this market is going to fall, go for that sell. For example, maybe you're thinking from this parabolic gap it will keep falling. Please go for the sell. I'm not saying any of you to follow or think like the way I'm thinking. Please don't do that. I'm clearly telling I'm looking for buy until 21806.25. Until that area, I'll look for buy. If market doesn't reach over here, instead keep falling, I will let this morning session go. I won't trade this morning session. I will come back around the PM session. If this market doesn't break this last fair value gap, I will start to look for around the PM session for this buy side liquidity again. Until it's not taken or market is not going to close below this fair value gap, I will keep looking for buy. So my only opportunity is to look for buy. So it is a swing high for validate the market structure shift. So if it can make a market structure shift with a fair value gap over here, that will be my buying opportunity. If it doesn't do that, keep falling, I'll let this go. Go for sell if you're thinking it is going to take some sell side liquidity. Market structure shift, no fair value gap, no entry for me. Keep falling, I'll let him fall. Not going to touch it. This is the 10 AM candle. So from the next candle, I will start to look for an entry opportunity. Outlander, are you here? Okay. Did you take the entry from the first presented gap? Because I told you to go for at least for 1 micro every single day from the first presented gap. Every day. Even if it doesn't work, just go for first presented gap entry every day, at least buy 1 micro contract. Okay, no problem. Just go for 1 micro contract. Or just make a paper account and use that paper account for that first presented gap entry. 529 is my target today. Jeep Zion 529, 529. It's very near, brother. So yeah, obviously it can be taken, and this low can be taken as well. It is logical level. Obviously it can go over there. If you are scared, then you have to build the confidence, and if you want to build the confidence, you have to make an account. Either it can be a paper account or an eval account, and go for the lowest contract size. Just come here, make it like one contract, whatever contract size you want to make, just make it. Every single day take an entry like this way. For example, today's entry is something like this. You will take an entry here. Stop loss is above that candle which has made this first presented gap. 34 handle, don't care about that. Look for 25 handle here. Every single day, just keep doing this and see at the end of the month, are you positive or are you negative? If positive, how much is your positivity? If negative, how much is your negativity? No partial, nothing. Yeah, you can take a partial if you go for 2 contract size. Take a partial around 20 handle, hold your trade for 25 handle. For the first time, not second time, third time. No, just for the first time. The confidence will be built automatically. You won't be afraid of that. No, Chris, yesterday also it worked, Friday it worked. I guess Wednesday or that it worked almost 9 times or 10 times. Well, including today, 10 times it worked. Yesterday also it worked perfectly. They started trading MNQ now to take every trade I miss for big SL. Yep, micro is better now because of the volatility. It's a huge volatility right now. If it keep falling, I will do nothing. I'm only interested to look for buy. For the first time, I'll get the market structure shift, fair value cap, I'll go for that buy. But if you are looking for sell, please go for the sell, and yeah, obviously go for sell. Wherever you think that it will go for the sell side, go for that. I'm only waiting for the buy side delivery. I would love to believe my analysis. I would love to believe my direction. Even if I'm wrong, I would love to believe it every single day. Not going to chase the price, not going to gamble. Market is below this midnight open. This is that midnight open. It is struggling around the midnight open. This is the opening gap. Friday close, today open. This is the opening gap. So it has closed the opening gap, respecting the low of that opening gap, as well as below this midnight open, took that sell side liquidity. This was the real sell side liquidity. I just marked this low randomly, but that was the sell side liquidity. If you remember at the beginning, I marked this sell side liquidity and then just marked it over here. That means maximum it can take that sell side liquidity. So it has already taken the sell side liquidity. Only interested to look for buy for first this high and that high. They're the buy side liquidity for me. Over here from 15-minute chart. This is the first buy side liquidity. This is the second or last buy side liquidity. Would love to look for those buy side liquidity. No market structure shift, no fair value gap, no entry. First of all, I didn't get the market structure shift. Secondly, there is no fair value gap. So this is not a valid entry. So not going to take that entry. Instead, I will just look for this buy side liquidity. Or if it make an fair value gap around this area or this type of setup, anything over here, maybe this will be my partial. And if it keep going higher, I mean, without fair value gap, or maybe now this it will start to go higher without any kind of entry opportunity, I'll just miss that trade. Nothing is perfect. Nothing, no trade is going to happen over here. Guys, I would love to repeat one more time. If any of you are thinking about sell, go for that. Obviously, this market can keep falling. Maybe my bias is wrong. It will keep falling. So if you think there is a selling opportunity, go for that sell. I believe the volatility is still huge. So need to make sure that I'm in a safe hand. It will keep falling. Okay, for example, it is keep falling. I will do nothing over here. I'll keep waiting and I will just let all the run go. It will keep falling. I'll let him go. Around the PM session, I'll come back again. I'm not here, but I'll be in front of my chart again. I'll start to look for that buy side liquidity if and only if this last parallel gap from 50-minute chart is not broken. If the 50-minute candle close below this last parallel gap, then I'll start to think about long-term sell. Until then, I'll keep looking for buy. The maximum sell side liquidity has taken over here, which is over there. It has been taken. Now it's time. Can it provide me any kind of buying run? If one candle can go through this parallel gap, I'll take the buy from this parallel gap. If one candle, okay, just one candle went through this gap, I'll tap to this gap high. I'll take the buy from this gap. This will be my target. Something like this. Here, this will be my target. The stop loss will be maybe here around this area. In the meantime, I'll try to take a partial when it will tap to this midnight open around here. I'll try to take a partial over there, or maybe little lower here somewhere randomly. All I need to see, one candle will go through this parallel gap. It will keep falling. I'm not going to touch it. There should be one candle. Like it has to go through this gap by one candle, and it has to close out this gap. If it happens, I'll go for this trade. If it provides me the entry opportunity from this gap, stop loss will be below the candle which has made this gap, which will be 21 handle. If it doesn't close above this gap, this entry is not valid. It has to close above that gap. I don't know why it's cancelled. Okay, I mean, whatever. That would be my entry here. I'll take a random partial there, 42 handle random partial. Stop loss is one tick below that candle. It just cancelled my order, but it's okay. Stop loss is over here. That will be random partial. Will hold my trade until this area. Okay, that should be the partial. That is forbidden. You can't skip this one. Manu, I mean, I have already told that I'm looking for buy. So if you keep saying that, it doesn't mean anything, and I'm not going to change my thinking. But if you keep saying that, I'll get confused. So please don't make me confused. Let me do my job. So I'm doing my job. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this market will keep falling. I don't need to make sure that it is coming to this buy side liquidity. I'll get that buy side liquidity, which is near about 74 handle. I'm happy with that. It will come until this area, 42 handle. I'm more than happy to get that. So far it has provided 20, how much? 26 handle, 27 handle, 28 handle. More than enough for being profitable. More than enough. So don't make me confused. Let me do my job, please. If you think that it will fall, go for sell or start looking for selling opportunity. Maybe you took the sell from there, you are already profitable. I wanna see this gap will be unfilled. Over here, this will be unfilled. Before tapping to this line, it will be unfilled. So please don't make me confused, because if I get confused, then I will do something very bad. I mean, I don't like to do it. This will be the partial. Remember, it should be the partial. And then we'll hold my trade until this area. It has been rejected. So I'm not in this trade, but that was my plan. That was my entry. You saw that I pushed the button, but it didn't actually take it. So until this area, it will be the partial. Make sure that it is the partial. So if you don't take the partial, it's your responsibility. So partial has been taken, 42 handle. We'll put my stop loss to the break even. We'll hold my trade until this buy side liquidity now. But my boom is over there, 42 handle, man. It's not small. And look at my stop loss. It's just 21 handle. I know more than 20 handle, but it's still that is enough for being profitable by taking a risk of just 20 handle. So even if it stopped me out to the break even, I don't care about that, because my partial to a 42 handle has been taken. Okay, now it can trade this gap one more time before taking that buy side liquidity. Stop loss should be at the break even. It can be traded before taking that high. It can be traded, so I can't move my stop loss, but as you can see, it's too far from this area. You can put your stop loss little higher. If I were you, I would put my stop loss below that candle. Even if I get stopped out, I don't care. Wouldn't take it here. But yeah, obviously this can be traded one more time before going and take that buy side liquidity. It is possible. So risk is yours, as you can take most of your contract size off over here. Then You can take that risk by putting the stop loss to the break even, but I prefer to put it over here and get stopped out prematurely. It is also possible. And to be honest, you don't need that runner. 37 handle runner, you don't need it. Until this area, it's 43 handle, 42 handle, something like that. I believe that that is more than enough, but that should be taken. To be honest, that should be taken. But as I told, before taking that high, it can trade this fair value gap. So it's up to you where you will put your stop loss. Now, like this is just for Manu, okay? Maybe this market won't go higher. Maybe, okay? Maybe I'm wrong about my bias. I was looking for buy. That was my entry opportunity. I would love to take my end close here until this area. If I get that 74 handle, I'm done, right? I don't need anything else. I'm done. Even if my bias is wrong, I'm already profitable. I don't need to think about anything else. Maybe this market will keep falling. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't need to think about that. So let's see if it can give me that boom to that extreme liquidity. Remember, before taking that buy side liquidity, it can trade that blue gap one more time. Just to make sure that people are intra. Yeah, if you'd love to trail, then you can put it put your stop loss below that fair value gap. You can do it. But if you ask me, if I were you, first opportunity is over here. See this low? I would put my stop loss just little below of that low. Maybe I would get a stopped out over here. If I don't trail my stop loss over here, then at least my stop loss will be below this fair value gap. When this candle will close above that high, I'll put my stop loss below that low. When it will go and close above that high. So from there to there, I'll move it from there. As I was thinking that this fall can trade this gap, so that is the first space to put the stop loss below, little below, okay, not exactly one tick below that gap, little below of that gap. And when it will make a swing low first, then it will take the recent high by body close. I can trail my stop loss over here. But if you don't take the partial over here, whole trailing stop loss is bullshit, because I don't prefer to hold the trade for the runner. It's 74 handle, which is runner. I don't prefer it. I was talking about that high. So when the body will close above that high, I will trail my stop loss below that low, or that low, any of them. This can work as an order block, so it is okay to put it over there as well. But body has to close above that line. The reason is it can make the liquidity here, then come back again to trade this fair value gap, then take that buy side liquidity. It is also possible. So if it can close above that high, that means it is going to take that high. The body close is important. By the way, when I'm thinking that this market will keep going higher, maybe this guy will work as an order block or the propulsion block, and then it will set the price lower again for this sell side liquidity. It is also possible. If you think that this is gonna fall and you would love to take a sell don't hesitate, go for that if you think like that way. But I don't think so it will do that. I think it will take this buy side liquidity, then it will reach at least until the 50% of that first presented gap. Until then it will keep going higher, at least until this 50% of that gap, and then it will reverse or it will keep going higher. That will depend on this first presented gap. So until this area I will keep thinking, I want to keep thinking that this market will go higher. Okay, so obviously your decision should be taken by yourself, not by me. Made another buy side liquidity, so it can come here, then it can take that buy side liquidity if it is not like in rush. If it is in rush, then it will take this buy side liquidity, that buy side liquidity by one candle or two candle. Within one or two candle, it will be taken both of them buy side liquidity. I prefer one candle, but it can take two candle to take both buy side liquidity. If the body can close above that line, I prefer to put the stop loss below that candle. This candle will close above that line. I prefer to put the stop loss below that candle. If it doesn't close above that one, it's the buy side liquidity taken. So it's up to you. Now you would love to trail your stop loss or not, it's up to you. Okay, I mean, I don't prefer to put my stop loss too far from there to there. I don't prefer it. Maybe stop loss could be here right now. Up to you. I want to see this candle will take that buy side liquidity within one or two candles. So one candle has taken this buy side liquidity, next candle will take this buy side liquidity. That is the best case of scenario. Because very near to the buy side liquidity, if it failed to take that buy side liquidity, that means it has made the strongest liquidity. It will work with the lower portion again before taking that buy side liquidity. So it is going to give me another opportunity to take the buy again. So in this type of situation, I'm in this trade. Maybe I'll put my stop loss as far as I can put. Okay, very risky. If I get stopped out, I'm okay with that. I'll miss some handle, but yeah, I'll cover some profit as well. There you go. 74 handle. I don't need anything else from this market. I want to see this market will come until this 50% at least. Then we'll look for the next opportunity. I pushed my button, but it didn't feel okay. So I am not able to be in the trade, but that was my interest to see. After taking that sell side liquidity, it will go for that. At least until this buy side liquidity, as I showed you at the beginning. If it doesn't give me the market structure shift, it will make the liquidity over here, so that I will be able to target that liquidity, or I'll be able to take the partial if it is a small range. That should be the morning session done. If you are not overzealous, if you didn't overtrade, you should be in the profit right now. 74 handle profit. My bias is still bullish. I would love to look for the buy run. I'm not interested to think about sell. If you think that this market will fall now, you can look for the selling opportunity. So all of this run, I'll let them go. I don't care about them. It will keep falling. I'll let them go. I have no problem with that. I'm only interested to take that buy. That's all. Not convinced yet. I wanna see this market will come here, as I told, until the 50% of that first presented gap with this speed. The speed should be in the market. No entry opportunity right now. I mean, if I want to take an entry right now, it's called chasing price. I'm not interested to chase the price. As I told, I'd love to take the entry at the beginning of the run. This is the beginning of the run. I want to take the entry over here. If it was the beginning of the run, I would look for the entry over here. So as it didn't do that, I would love to take the entry at the beginning of the run. This is the middle of the run. I'm not interested to take the entry from the beginning of the run. As I'm showing you here, this I'm also seeing over here what is happening over there. I'm also watching over here. This is the down close body close candle. It can work as an order block now before sending the market higher. By the way, anybody took this entry? This is an unfinished business, okay? Anybody took this entry, and did you take the partial over here? Did you hold your trade over here? Just let me know. Or did you get stopped out prematurely? Like if I were you, I would get stopped out over here because my stop loss would be there. Anybody? Nope, nope. Okay, Archana, you took it. That's cool. Yes, closed at new week opening gap. Okay. Closed at new week opening gap. Where is it actually? I don't know. What is the price, Outlander? The new week opening gap price? Why don't you believe me, man? You should believe me. Boom, thank you, Christian. Boomka, partial and hold. Okay, yeah, you can hold it until this 50% of that first presented gap. Okay, but make sure that your stop loss is not too far from your area. Okay, because now it can come back again for this fair value gap, or maybe for this sales liquidity. It can go for that. Make sure that your stop loss is very tight. 21,590, 21,590. Oh man, it's too early to close. That was a clean buy side liquidity, and you have the buy side liquidity here and here. So it was too early, brother. But yeah, it's okay. Still, you are profitable, right? That's okay. Okay, I can see some of you has taken the entry. That's cool, man. I did too. I took the entry and aggressively trailed my stop loss behind the previous candle. Oh, okay. Still, you are profitable, SK. I'm in sell in 930 fair value gap take. Oh, okay. You took the sell from the 930 fair value gap and you were holding it. Did you take the partial, brother? Because if you didn't take the partial, then you have already missed all the opportunity, I guess. I believe that you have taken some partial, at least. I took the trade after candle close above the new week opening gap. Okay, okay. I think the new week opening gap is around here somewhere. I don't know. I didn't mark it because that new week opening gap doesn't have any value to me. I don't want to give any kind of value to this new week opening gap. New week opening gap, new day opening gap provide me the direction. So as the new week opening gap was small, I guess 10 to 11 handle. I am not 100% sure. It will be 10 or 11 handle, something like that. I can't use that gap as my direction, so I didn't do it. I didn't mark it. That's so what my wife says. What did she say? Buy trades, hit target profits, so done for the day. Yeah, that's cool, man. If you are already profitable, don't try to enter the market until the next case of scenario. Right now, market is in the middle of the range. No need to force the market to give you the entry right now. Sorry, yes, I took a partial in 20. Oh, that's cool, man. If you have taken the partial, cool. That's cool, man. But if you took the entry from the first presented gap, from there to there, it's near about 145 handle. Why did you hold the trade? 145 handle, man. Why did you hold that trade? It was huge. Oh, too early. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's okay, man. Still, my money is money. You got the money, that's all. Maybe it wouldn't take that buy side liquid. Okay, maybe wherever the new week opening gap is, it will be respected and market will start to fall. Then you will get stopped out to the break even. So you did the good job, man. I was lucky. So market took my buy side liquidity. I'm happy with that. Just I was lucky, okay? This is an unfinished business, so I will look for this fair value gap to see if it can trade this fair value gap before going higher again. By the way, thank you so much, guys, for for being profitable over here. Please, if you are profitable, don't try to take entry anymore. At least not in your funded account. Please don't go for that. It was a very nice trade for 74 handle, and I believe that it's more than enough for a specific day. So work with your psychology right now. I'm not seeing that fall as a sell opportunity. I'm seeing this fall as a liquidity taken. So it is actually falling to take some liquidity before going higher again. Walaikum salam al Mahmudi. $250 for 6 account. More than enough. More than enough. Come back tomorrow again with the funded account. Don't don't get frustrated. Oh man, why I didn't hold it for the buy side liquidity. Oh man, I missed it. No, don't do that. It was just a luck. Market has taken that liquidity. I don't know exactly where is the new week opening gap that could stop the price and it lower again. So you did a good job, man. So be thankful. Whatever you did, wherever you closed it, you did the great best job ever. Mhm. That is good, SK as well. So first presented gap has provided us 25 handle. This entry has provided us 74 handle. Should be done for the day, for the whole day. But as I told, until this buy side liquidity is not taken, this one is not taken, I'll keep looking for buying opportunity. If and only market closed below this last fair value gap from 15-minute chart, I will switch my target from buy side to sell side. Until it's not going to close below this last fair value gap, every fall is my buying opportunity. Every fall is gonna be my buying opportunity. Here, all I'm seeing that down close body close candle, can it work as an order block and send the market higher again? I want to see this market will come back at least until the 50% of that first presented gap. Then it will go higher or it will fall. We'll look for that. Here, there is a gap from 15-minute chart. If you take a closer look around this area, this is a gap, okay? If this market doesn't want to go for that buy side liquidity, it doesn't need to trade this fair value gap. So it never need to come back over here. That is why I'm watching this 50% of that first presented gap, which is aligned with this 15-minute bearish gap. If it can touch this bearish gap will be violated. This will be taken. That is why I'm interested, as I'm looking for buy. So I want to see this fair value gap will be traded. If it failed to trade this fair value gap, that means it is extremely bearish. It will never go for that buy side liquidity, which is going against my direction. That is why I want to see it will trade at least until the 50% of that first presented gap. Same time, it will trade that fair value gap. If this fair value gap is traded, this buy side liquidity is going to be taken. So, do you understand the? You remember last day when I don't remember, there was a bearish gap. I told that if it trade that bearish gap, I'll look for the buy side liquidity. I don't care about the sell run. It will go for that buy side liquidity. If you remember that, this is that same kind of area here. This low, that low, they're relatively equal lows. Would love to see, can it work as a trap gap? Remember yesterday I showed you the trap gap? Wanna see, can it work as a trap gap? What do I mean by that? It is going higher, right? So what you will think, this gap will hold the price, send it higher. Now my bias is bullish, so I don't think so it will work as a trap gap. But if my bias was bearish, for example, I was thinking this market will fall for this sell side liquidity. Okay, I was thinking like that. Then I would see this fair value gap will work as a trap gap. It's a bull market, then market fall little bit, make a bullish gap again. Everyone will jump for the buy here to look for the buying opportunity. Every single one will jump for the buy over here, and then it will fail to take that high. It will close below this gap, it will tap to this gap, it will reach for this unfinished fair value gap. When it will close below this gap, it is not going to close above the 50% of that gap. It is called the trap gap. So this is a bullish market. Market fall, failed to take the liquidity, made the liquidity, this low and that low, relatively equal lows, made the liquidity, make a bullish gap. I'll go for the buy. It will fail to go higher. Instead, it will fall again, closed below this gap, tap to this gap, it will keep falling. If my bias was bearish. Now, what is my bias, brother? Where I'm expecting this market will go? Obviously, this is not my buying opportunity, but I'm expecting this market will go here, then finally this buy side liquidity, then that buy side liquidity. So I'm not seeing this one. I'm not expecting this is going to be the trap fair value gap. Now, if it failed to take that high and then closed below this gap, this is a selling opportunity. That was a selling opportunity from there to there. Because though my bias was bullish, it would love to finish the unfinished business over here. That is why it is coming to fall. Take that liquidity. After taking that liquidity, I need a resting place. Where is my resting place? This is my nearest resting place, which is the entry gap. This is the last gap from 1 minute chart. That is the resting place. As my bias is bullish, I'm not thinking this is going to work as a trap gap, but if it would do the trap gap, I would go for that sell. Buying is not valid for me anymore. The run has gone already. If I am already in this trade, maybe I can hold the trade, but new entries are not valid until it doesn't make another buying opportunity. It's not valid anymore. Where the buying opportunity is going to be built when this fair value gap will be 100% violated by 15 minute chart, then the buy will be valid again. Why here? Isn't it too far? I mean, the run has started here. Why you would love to take the entry over here? Here, the entry will not like something closed there, market structure sheet, fair value gap would take the buy. No, not like that. It will close above this fair value gap from 15 minute chart. Then it will fall a little bit to take some liquidity. After taking the liquidity, it will make a setup above the fair value gap 50% around this area. That is the new beginning of a new run for that buy side liquidity. That is my another opportunity over here to go for that buy. Why you are talking about buy? Talk about sell. No, I'm not thinking this market will fall. I'm bullish. So I'm not interested to think about the selling opportunity. Any of them, I'm not interested to see will hold the market, send it lower. If you think like that way, try to look for your selling opportunity. It's okay, absolutely okay. Okay. How can I use this gap? I can use this gap as a reclaimed gap. What do you mean by that? Tap to this gap, take that high. This high has been taken over here. It will fall, take this low. This low will be taken. Come to this fair value gap. Will close above this gap again. This is my buy again until this area. Here, if I take the buy from the reclaimed gap, my stop loss should cover the lowest break order block. Whatever order block market will make around this area, that means down close, body close candle to that specific line, to that leg. I have to cover that order block, at least the min threshold of that order block, until that buy side liquidity. I can use this gap like that way as a reclaimed fair value gap. But for that, it has to take both buy side and the sell side, or the initial swing high and swing low. It has to trade some kind of obvious level, which is at least this entry cap. It can trade the last cap as well, it's up to him, but at least one of them will be traded. Then it will close above this gap. Later, after a long time, then I will be able to trade from this area, which is gonna be the reclaimed gap. Remember yesterday I showed you the reclaimed gap, order block, everything. Right now, can I take a sell from there? 100% no, because it has taken that liquidity, or sorry, it has taken that high. So what it can do, it can do the choppiness. It can take that low, then it can start to go higher again. So I'm not interested to take the entry from this gap anymore to look for sell. No, I'm not interested to go for that. This is a gap right now, has no value. This gap has no value right now. Can I use it as an inverse gap? There is no way to use it as an inverse gap. You want to use it as an inverse gap, go for that. I'm not confident enough to take to believe it as an inverse gap. It has no value right now. It will be valuable if it can take that liquidity which has been taken over here. Best case of scenario, to trade some kind of a specific level before looking for a buy. Right now, if I want to take a buy from this reclaimed gap, it is risky because it didn't trade the fair value gap. So if this candle could touch this one, I would start to look for a buying opportunity from there and would cover that order block or whatever order block it would make over there. Right now, no. It is just in seek and destroy mode. High, make a high which has taken that liquidity, make a low, then make another high which has taken the liquidity, then fall, take that liquidity. It is keep going higher. Okay, let him go higher. So far I'm seeing this is an seek and destroy mode, or in other word, consolidation. Look at this 15-minute candle. 15-minute candle, trade this order block, respected the open of that order block, closed over there. Next candle open, trade until this area. Let's see how it is going to close. Okay, still this 15-minute candle is showing me that, yeah, though I'm respecting this order block, but I'm not sure that I'll go higher or not. So I'm in a consolidation mode or seek and destroy mode. If I get another opportunity, obviously I'll go for the trade. So I'm waiting for the 1050 1110 macro. Next candle is the 1050 candle, so I would love to wait for the macro. Okay, so you can see it tapped to this gap, but I can't take the buy from this gap now because I'm not going to believe it is going to work as an reclaimed gap. It can be violated easily. This is a random run. Sorry, this is a random run. But if this run could tap over here, this could be my entry. I would just cover that order block. So here that could be my entry. Stop loss would be just one tick below that order block or below the min threshold or something. But right now I'm not thinking that it has any value. It will be violated a lot of time because of the consolidation. Okay? But in the meantime, if you think about sell, if you think about buy, go for that. I have no problem with that. I'm not saying you to look for buy. I'm not saying you to look for sell. I'm just explaining what I'm thinking, how I give a priority to a specific fair value gap. And I believe that it's very easy to understand. Thank you guys for subscribing. Whoever has subscribed to our channel, thank you so much, brother. We are not doing any kind of copy trade over here. We are just talking about the price action, and we are trying to learn the price action, how we can use the fair value gap, how we can use the breaker block, how we can use the order block, rejection block, buy side liquidity, direction, everything we are talking about, so that we can learn how to do that by ourselves. We don't need to depend on other people. You will be able to think about that, where the market will go. The way I was looking for bullish turn today, that buy side liquidity, why I was looking for that buy side liquidity, I've explained that at the beginning of this of this session. When and how I will start to think about the sell, I talked about this as well. Remember this last fair value gap. So all of these things are for learning purpose. If you think it is insightful and you have subscribed to our channel, then welcome to our family. This fair value gap is an unfinished business. This is the entry gap, this is the last gap. So if this market would love to keep going higher, it doesn't need to come back again to this last gap, not that gap. I'm talking about this gap here. This gap and that gap. If this market is bullish, it doesn't need to come here to trade this gap. But this is an unfinished business. It should trade this gap before going higher. If it come here to trade this gap closed below the 50% of this gap, then this sell side liquidity can be taken, which I don't want to see. I would love to see this will be traded. This will market will fail to trade this gap. I want to see that. In the meantime, if you look to this specific candle, the 50% of that candle, which is the mean threshold of that order block, aligned with this entry gap. So I want to see the 50% of that order block, and this unfinished business will be finished before the market going higher. So all my interest is not aligned with 1 minute chart, but also with the 15-minute chart. I have to have something from the 15-minute chart as well. Keep this fair value gap on your chart. Don't take your entry, okay? Don't take your entry. Just keep this gap in your chart until this market doesn't trade this gap. When it will trade this gap, then it will close above this gap. Then observe this gap and the lowest order block, whatever order block it will make. That is the lowest down close body close candle before that big bull run. Just observe that order block as well until this first presented gap 50%. If it doesn't trade this one, no, it's not valid. This is the first fair value gap, which has some probability to stop the market, which is the first fair value gap. As I told, I will talk about this gap when I will finish my whole trading journey with all of you guys. I don't know when, but whenever I'll finish it, I'll talk about this first fair value gap. It's too much confusing, and most of the time you will have no idea how to use this gap, as I don't have actually, to be honest. So I can only use this one as after effect. Most of the time I don't have any idea how to use this one. So as you can see here, just 3 gaps. So you can say, okay, it is just 3 gap. No, there can be like 7 fair value gap. Okay, 7 fair value gap. The highest gap is your first fair value gap. It is as important as the last fair value gap. But when and how, I didn't figure it out, and I stopped working with that, to be honest. So I really don't know how to use this gap. To be honest, I don't know. Thank you, Peter or Outlander, for supporting me. We talked around the morning session a lot. To be honest, it was too relaxable. I was feeling so good around that time, and yeah, thanks for that mental support, brother. I always appreciate all of your effort. Thank you so much, man. I was totally, I don't know, like disaster. What was happening? I don't know. Last 3 days, I slept like near about out of 48, sorry, 72 hours. I think I have slept near about 40 hours out of 72 hours. I was just sleeping, sleeping, and sleeping. Even today, I slept like 10 to 11 hours. It's been a long, I didn't sleep too much, like 2 to 3 hours, maximum 4 hours. like near about 7 years. I don't sleep more than 3 to 4 hours. But last 3 days I slept near about 40 hours. Not 14, 40, 40 hours. Look at this consolidation. This is a pure consolidation. So if you are interested to enter into this market, good to go. You are always good to go. But I'm seeing this is a pure consolidation. So not interested to enter into this market here in this whole consolidation. I don't want to enter over here. If you are interested, go for that. I'm a guy who can sleep at the train station. I have slept like my life is different, brother. I mean, what do I say that? I slept in the train station in Denmark when the temperature was like see minus 16 degrees Celsius, minus 12 degrees Celsius, something like that. I slept on train station. I slept in the railway, like how does it call in Bangladesh? Is in Bangladesh, the street people in Bangladesh. I slept over there, and like my body can digest everything. I'm like always okay in every kind of situation, every kind of environment. I'm always okay. Some kind of mental depression because of some specific reason. It's not all about like my body or something. It's something like fully different, and it will be okay. Within like few days, it will be okay. I'll be okay again. I'll be back with my mood, with my laugh, with my smile, with my everything. It will just take some days. That's all, brother. Yeah, Manu, obviously, if you think about short, go for that, man. I have no problem with any of you if you think that this market will fall. I believe that this market will fall. If you believe it, I will believe it to you. But my analysis was telling me that I should look for buy. That's why I was looking for buy. Same here. I took the buy here, close my trade here for the 74 handle. Maybe you took the same. You took sell here. You closed your trade there. You got 94 handle. You are more profitable than me. So obviously your sell is valid, my buy is also valid. Both of us had different view over here. I was looking for buy, so I framed the buy setup. You are looking for sell, you frame the sell setup over there. Or maybe you took the sell from the first presented gap and you hold it until this area, which is 140 handle. So you are better than me. If any of you are thinking that this market will keep falling, go for that, man. I'm not saying that this market can fall. I'm just all saying I'm interested to look for buy until a certain period of time. Then maybe if it can close below this fair value cap, I'll start to look for sell. Until this area, I'm not interested to look for sell. Every single time it will fall, I'll try to look for a buying opportunity. This is the whole consolidation. If any of you would love to enter into this market, congratulations, brother. Go for it. Until market doesn't reach this fair value gap, I'm not interested to look for buy. If it can reach to this fair value gap, then I'll be interested to look for another buying opportunity. It didn't reach here, I'm not interested to look for buy. Obviously the 50% of that week can be respected. As you can see here, that can be respected. That means it will hold the market and send it higher. It is possible. In this type of situation, I'll miss the trade because it's an unfinished business. I don't want to let it happen. That means if it if it is unfinished, this market will come back again to trade this gap. So it won't reach until a certain level. Before reaching over there, it has a possibility to come back again to trade this parallel gap. So I'm not interested to leave this open over here. But that week 50%, a very specific week, that week has taken all the liquidity, trade the fair value gap. This is a very specific week. That week 50% is important. Obviously it can stop the price as it is just after 11 the macro, around 11 macro. So whatever side it is going to provide me, that means maybe it will give me a bullish setup. Now it can work perfectly after the macro. So before the macro, it didn't provide me any run. It was just consolidating. So I can't simply use the macro for my entry. For me, no trade is valid after 11:30. If you ask me about the breaker block, no sir, I don't have any breaker block here. I can't look for any kind of breaker block entry around this area. This is just a pure consolidation. Market is consolidating in a range. It is range bound. If you ask me to do something, I am unable to do something. You saw this run and you are thinking this gap will hold the market, send it lower, go for it. I'm not thinking like that way. I want to see it will go through this gap again, it will come here again, then it will fall again, something like that. Just not interested to take entry from that gap for selling opportunity. ICT posted a trade. He took the short 5 minutes before the open, took around 64. As I told you, remember before the opening, what did I say? After opening, market will first fall. So everyone will start to think that this is a bearish market. They will chase the bear run, and then what will happen? Market will start to go higher. All of them will be chopped up. So if you understand the logic, after 3 holiday, this is the logic. Just simply think like that way. 3 holiday, okay? These 3 days there is no trade. Market opened. I have the buy side liquidity. That was not the buy side liquidity. It has created like in the period of time when my buy side liquidity is over here. Obvious liquidity. Remember that is the buy side liquidity. So I'm believing that this market will go for that buy side liquidity. I'm going to believe it. Market open here. Where it should go first? Obviously it should go for the sell side. I mean, all of this liquidity should be taken for the first time. Secondly, whoever are thinking to enter into this market, they will see market is falling, so they will take sell. Every single candle they will take sell. It is going higher, they are taking sell. Going higher, lower, taking sell. Going lower, taking sell. Then what market will do? Stop them. All of them will get stopped out, and this market will go and take that buy side liquidity. If you understand this logic and if your bias is bullish, what is going to happen after 9:30? Obviously Judas swing, that is gonna be opposite run. Whatever your direction is, it's gonna be the opposite run. So you can predict the fall even before the opening. The problem is here I had this sell side liquidity. I can, even if I would love to take a sell, I can hold my trade until this relatively equal lows maximum, until this area, or maybe until the midnight open. Until this area I can look for the hold the trade. I didn't know that it will fall that far. It was illogical to me. I mean, why it fall that far? Now from 15-minute chart, last 3 candle, 1 2 3. What do you see from this last 3 candle? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Didn't you think that after that big fall that this market is going to fall by using this parallel gap? How many people did think like that way? At my beginning I was thinking like that way, okay, this is a consolidation after the 11, so this is the fair value gap, now market is going to fall maybe for this sell side liquidity. No, it's a trap. Don't fall into this trap. Yeah, it is possible that it will go higher now. It is logical. So if I want to take a buy from this inverse gap or this gap, if I want to use an as an trap gap, because this low failed to take that low, so it can work as a trap gap. If I want to use it as a trap gap, it is logical because market has been respected from the 50% of that week. It doesn't need to reach over here. It is low probability for me, so I'm not going to take that entry from this area, but it is logical. Now it will fall, tap to this gap, and then it will keep going higher here. As market didn't reach to this gap, this fair value gap doesn't have any value. It will tap to this gap and it will keep going higher for this 50% of that gap. It is possible. So something like this, maybe from the entry from there, stop loss is going to cover that gap, this gap, and target is going to be the first presented gap 50%, which is over there, or maybe the low of that 50-minute gap. Okay. So until this area, it is logical from there. But this gap, how many people thought that it is going to work as a bearish gap? No, it's not a bearish gap. Think about the sell. If you think like that way, you are wrong, because this is a bullish market. I've shown you what happened over here. Everything I've shown you before the, now it doesn't tap to this gap. It's a bad luck, just a bad luck. But otherwise, that can be a logical entry. But selling over here, it's absolutely 100% illogical. Guys, I should be upset almost every day, because if I'm upset, I can read this, I can feel this price. I'm not in rush, I'm not like, I can feel this market better. I mean, I don't know, but I should be upset maybe almost every day before trading. Even after this whole consolidation, I'm going to predict that this can work now. Why? First of all, it tapped to the 50% of that week. After 11, my bias is bullish. Now it can work. That means the consolidation can be gone. It's gone. It can be, it's possible that it's now gone. No more consolidation. But for that, you have to understand your bias. If you think this market is going to fall, this is not going to help you. You have to understand the whole logic to look for the buy. Why you are looking for the buy. You have to be very careful about your bias. And for understanding the bias, what can I do for you, brother? What else can I do for you? I tried my level best so that you guys can understand how to look for the bias. And for understanding this, you have to believe me 100%, and you have to believe me blindly. Even if I'm wrong, you have to believe me blindly. There's no other way. The way I believed ICT himself, blindly, without any question, without anything. He told it will go higher, I believed it. I mean, what do I mean by that? I mean, before in 2023, 2022, ICT actually told like, keep an eye over there. For example, market is over here. He told that keep an eye over here. So he is bullish. That is his bias. I was believing him that this market will go higher. Sometimes it didn't go over there. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, it hit the area he was looking for. It's not too far, but like small range. But you have to believe. I would be in this trade if this candle could tap to this gap. As it didn't do that, this week 50% is holding the price. Even before that run, I talked about this, remember, when the market was over here. It can work. I'm just not confident to go for that because it's an unfinished business. Look at that run. This is the last fair value gap here. This is the last fair value gap. This is the entry gap over here. This entry gap is valid from that volume balance. So from that volume balance to the top of this candle, it's the entry gap. So if I mark it like this way here and change the color to red, this is the entry gap. This is the last gap. It can tap to this entry gap before going higher again. Why I'm not in this trade? Just because it didn't trade this unfinished business. It didn't finish this business over here. So I'm not interested to enter into this market from here. It is possible that it will go higher by using this 50%. Not a high probability, not going for this trade. Simple logic. It's not true, Haryana. I didn't know about this rule. If there is no high impact news around 8:30, no trade. Yeah, it's not like that much impactful for trading. High impact news is high volatility. Low impact news is low volatility. No news is low volatility. But there is no relationship with news to trade. For example, if I wanted to take this entry, how could I go for this trade? From this fair value gap, covered that last gap here, not going for this one, okay? The reason is market didn't do that. So it's a low probability and would hold it until this area. 21 handle stop loss or 38 handle profit. That could be an opportunity. This lowest down close body close candle, it should work as an order block. It will tap to this order block. It will keep going higher. Something like this. I'm not saying I'm not taking this entry again. Just it is unfinished. That is why I'm not taking. But this is a probability, not a high probability, but it's possible just because it has used that last fair value gap. Where you have the market structure shift here, you got the market structure shift there, fair value gap, entry fair value gap, last fair value gap until the volume balance, last fair value gap. Trade the entry gap, made the order block, trade that order block, should provide me that unfilled gap now. From 15-minute chart, all you can see market has been respected the 15-minute order block open. This is the 15-minute order block open. It has been respected that 15-minute order block open, and now it is going toward that fair value gap. Don't trade after the bank holiday. ICT has traded before even opening 9:30. I'm not sure. Jack just told me that ICT has been traded this market before even opening 9:30 after the bank holiday. It's low probability, but it doesn't mean that I can't trade. I have to wait for the setup, that's all. Order block has been violated, so no need to keep it over here. Start to look for another new order block if it can make another order block over there. I am not going to take this entry. Yeah, I'm saying it when here it is here. Even I was saying it when it was going there as well. I'm not in this trade just because market didn't trade this unfinished business. So when it didn't finish it, it's not a high probability. If it is not a high probability, I'm not interested to take the entry. Obviously, it can work, but not going to take it. That's all. Not going to take it. That's all. So it tapped to this gap here. Remember this gap, that gap. This is the first time it tapped to this gap. Again, it can work. Okay, maybe it will work, but it's not a high probability not going to take this entry. All you can do is like if you are thinking you would love to take this entry, you can take one micro contract. So if you take a loss, you will take like 42 loss, something like that. I'm just not interested to go for this trade as it is low probability. The reason is from here. It can work. The reason is it trade that last parallel gap. But if it could tap to this gap, or at least this low could tap to this gap, I would be in this market from that fair value gap, or maybe I would wait until that tap to this fair value gap. Any of this, I would go for the trade. As it didn't finish its business over here, not in this trade. Even if it works, I am not going to be frustrated, not going to think that, oh, I missed that trade. Not going to think that because it was low probability. All I'm not going to change is my bias. So some of you can think that this is the market structure shift after taking the buy side liquidity. Market structure shift, there is a fair value gap, entry gap, last gap. So you would love to take a sell over there. Please go for that. Maybe it will work. Okay. Maybe from this area, from that fair value gap, it will tap to this fair value gap. It will keep falling for this sell side liquidity. It is possible. You want to take the sell, go for it. I'm not interested to take the sell. So I will not frame the sell setup. I still believe that all of this fair value gap will be violated and this market will fall, go at least until the 50% of that first presented gap. That's my belief. So I'm not interested to frame the sell setup. But if you think this market will fall, you want to look for sell from this area, go for it. The same thing here. Tap to this gap, keep falling. So it can also possible, it can keep falling. You can look for that sell. I'm not interested to take the sell. It's a higher probability to go for the buy instead of taking the sell. So I'm not interested to frame the sell setup. Buying, I'm not pushing the button, just it didn't finish the business here. That's why I'm not taking the buy as well. But if I would love to gamble here, I will gamble with buy, not sell. What else do I have? 15-minute order block over here. It has been respecting this 15-minute order block. Just let me mark a line over there. from the 15-minute order block. So this is the 15-minute order block. Let me make it a little wider here. Come back again to the top of this 15-minute order block as well. So retest this 15-minute order block. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth time it tapped to this 15-minute order block. It's acceptable. This is the last gap. I don't want to see it will be traded. Would love to see a body close out of this gap so that I can frame another buying opportunity from this gap to the top when it will close out this gap. And until whatever lowest down close body close candle it will make over here until that area. If it can close above that gap. Any of buy is not high probability, so not going to take this entry. From 1 minute chart, now this is the order block as it is the lowest down close body close candle. This is the order block. So let's see if it can hold the market and send it higher again. Just not going to mark it, but you can mark the open of that order block and the min threshold, that is 50% of that order block. So both of them level you can mark it on your chart. Whoever is thinking about sell, they don't need to think about the order block because either way it is going to be broken. If you are thinking about the sell and if market would love to fall. I'm not thinking about sell, so I would love to use this candle as my order block. I need immediate reaction from this order block. So this specific candle validate this order block. Next candle trade the order block. This candle or the next candle should go higher. Yeah, it can spend little time over here just for 11:30 because I'm very near to the 11:30 middle of the hour. So it can spend little more time, like 5 to 6 minutes, 5 to 6 candle to respect that order block. That order block has been violated. So it's not the order block anymore. If this candle closed below that candle, then this new candle will be the order block again. Which is this last parabolic gap reaction to until this last parabolic gap. It will keep falling. I have nothing to do over here. It will keep falling. I will let him fall. Then when it will be here again, I will start to look for buying opportunity again. No sell is valid for me. I'm not interested to look for sell. Well, this order block 50% is still holding the price. One candle close below the 50% of that order block. Next candle close above the 50% of this order block. It is still valid. This candle failed to close below that candle, so it is valid as an order block. If this candle can close below these candles, then it's not valid anymore. It will keep falling for this area. I have nothing to worry about that because I didn't frame any sell setup. It's not the order block anymore. This new candle is my new order block. I'll close my stream after a bit, after getting that bull run. I'll close my stream. Here, this stop loss is one tick below that candle which has made this breakaway gap. So as you can see, my stop loss is just one tick below that candle which has made this breakaway gap, and it didn't hit my stop loss because my stop loss is one tick below that candle which has made this breakaway gap. So finally it has made the order block here. That is the order block. At last it has made this order block. This should not be violated from 1 minute chart, which has traded this last gap. It should not be violated. If it wants to keep going higher, it should not be violated. If it's been violated, that means this market will have to fall a little bit. Again, even if it works, I'm not interested to take this entry. The reason is market didn't finish its business over here. So even if it went little higher, it can simply come back again to trade this gap one more time. So when I have this unfinished business, this is a low probability to take entries. Not interested to take entry, even if it works. I don't care. I will not going to be frustrated because I missed that trade. It's a possibility. It can work. Both of this, okay, from this parabolic gap, which is this entry here, that entry, this one, and the 22 YT model after market structure shift, entry gap. This is the entry gap. This is the last gap, which is the black two line. This is the last gap. Both of this entry is a low probability. I just didn't take the entry, but obviously it can work. Is in a logical way. It can work perfectly. I'm not going to be frustrated to miss this trade. That's all. So this is 11:30. This should either 11:30 or 11:31. These two candles should give me the volatility. Any of these two candles. I mean, not two candle, 29, 30, 31. Any of these three candles should provide me some kind of volatility. Here, I would prefer to see a body close above that high. So if a body can close above that high, this is gonna be taken. Order block, propulsion block. Order block, lowest down close body close candle, order block, propulsion block. Tap to this propulsion block, should keep going higher, closed above that high, which is going to violate the bearish gap as well. Okay. 11:31 candle. I want to see this type of volatility within 30 or 31. Any of these two candles should give me the volatility. It spent all of this time, which is called time distortion, just because to get the run around 11:30. Best thing is it has to close above that high. It has to close above that high. That is the best case of scenario. made the buy side liquidity or relatively equal highs, which is the buy side liquidity, that should be taken. And when it will be taken, if it make a fair value gap over here around this area, that fair value gap should be unfilled before tapping to the certain level, which is over here, this first presented gap or 15-minute bearish gap. In the meantime, if any of you are thinking about sell, please go for that. I'm not interested to look for sell. I would love to see this market will go higher, but I'm not interested to enter into this market by this setup. The reason is market didn't finish the job over here. So this is a probability. I would love to outline it. That's all. Not going to take this entry. As it didn't provide me this, I'm not in this trade. If this candle could tap to this gap, I would be in this trade with high confidence this is going to work. As it didn't do that, this 50%, I just repeat it one more time actually, that 50% is going to provide me the last fair value gap. It can keep going higher and trade this area, which is logical. But I'm not just going to enter into this market, though I believe it will work, but I'm not going to take this entry, that's all. I just would love to wait a bit over here to get the buy done, and then I'll close my stream. Remember, the stop loss is one tick below that candle which has made this fair value gap. So here this candle has made this fair value gap. My stop loss should be one tick below that candle, because if this fall happen, the wick can reach until the low of that candle which has made this breakaway gap, but it should not violate the candle which has made this breakaway gap. After 11:30 Archana, I don't prefer to enter into the market again after 11:30. And as I told, this is a low probable trade. I don't need to take entry in this low probable area. It would be high probability if it could finish the unfinished business over here, which is the last gap. That should not be touched. It should be traded before going higher. It should be traded. If it doesn't want to trade that on, then it can make this type of situation where there will be a wick that will take all the liquidity, trade the gap. It has traded that 50% of that wick has been respected. It can work, or it can finish the business, the unfinished business over here. It means I am extremely bullish. I'm in rush. I don't have the time to trade here. That's why I have made this last fair value gap. That is the only reason I made this last fair value gap, so that I don't need to reach over here. This is why it is a possibility, not high probability. This is not a high probability. As I told, if it works, I'm not going to be frustrated because I missed it. No. If it works, I'll be happy. If it doesn't work, I'll be happy because I didn't take this entry. If it works, I'll think, oh, okay, so it has worked over. It's something like self-satisfaction. I was looking for buy, there was a buying opportunity, it worked by using that last parallel gap. I didn't take it because that was unfinished. It's risky over here. You can see that lot of consolidation, lot of time spending, time distortion over here. It is waiting and waiting. It's not a high probability. If you want to go for that, maybe you can go for one micro contract. So if you take a loss, you will take a 20 handle loss, sorry, $40 loss, something like that. I can say just that if you want to take it, go for the lowest leverage, just to enjoy the market. That's all. Put the logical level stop loss. Got stopped out, okay. Didn't get stopped out, worked. Maybe if it worked, how much you are going to get? Maybe $76. Okay, I'm with that. But I'm not prefer to take entry around this area. When I decided not to trade, just look at the market, what it is doing. Just consolidating. Even after, if you see over here, this 15-minute candles, very small body, long wick. That is the confirmation of the consolidation. Either way, this is the low probability. So this entry will be stopped out here, this one, and this one will be stopped out maybe as well. I don't know, let's see. Yeah, just a bit. It will be stopped out as well, I guess. Still this clean high, which will be my next entry opportunity. So if it come here around this area, I will start to look for buy again. This buy side liquidity, same thing here. Remember that buy side liquidity there, that buy side liquidity, this high and that high, that buy side liquidity. Same logic will be applied here as well. Now this is my clean buy side liquidity. If it reach to any of this parallel, this one or that one, any of them, best is to trade this gap before going higher again. That's the best case of scenario. And in that type of situation, if it is in PM session, I will look for that entry. If it is in lunch hour, I'll just let this go. But I'm not going to change my mind, not going to think about sell. We'll just try to go for buy only. Every single time it will fall, it's just liquidity taken. And after 11:30, always try not to take any entries after 11:30 so until at least 12:50. This is the lunch macro where trading is the low probability, because around the lunch time everyone is busy to eat something. They're not watching the market, so market maker actually make a lot of manipulation at least until 12:30. Sometimes after 12:30 it's better, the price action is better after 12:30 or around 12:30, exact around 12:30. Most of the time it happens if there is a holiday in front of you. So something like tomorrow is my holiday, so it will be better the lunch hour today around 12:30. If you are already in profit, don't enter into this market again. This week is a low probable week, so please don't try to enter into this market. If you are already profitable, close the chart, watch some nice movie, or maybe go outside, enjoy your time or enjoy life, not sit in front of this chart. By the way, thank you guys for being over here. It's absolutely the consolidation. The whole area is a consolidation area. It is consolidating, and I hope that PM session. Not sure how the market will work with these two fair value gap. That will all depend on the PM session. If it work with these two fair value gap or work with the upper gap, that is the best case of scenario. Leave this gap open, 100% open. That is the best case of scenario to think about the buy. If it doesn't do that, closed above this fair value gap, another opportunity to look for buy from here to until there, until that area, another opportunity. If and only if it closed below this fair value gap, then and only then I will think about the sell. Until then, every single time it will fall, I will start to look for buy. Fall, I will start to look for buy with some certain case of scenario. If there is something very specific that is going to tell me, for example, here I was looking for that. If it could do that, I'll be in the trade over here. It didn't do that, I'm not going to take entry over here, because it can be like a lot of consolidation or a lot of things over here. If any of you would love to take the sell from here, go for that. The same way you did over here, you can did the same thing over here as well. Maybe this time you'll be lucky. But after 11:30, not interested to trade. Anybody has any question? If you don't have any question, just write down buy. I'll close my session. But before closing, I'm saying again, not interested to look for sell. Eating and sleeping are better, enjoy saver. Money would be in third place. Hey Mehdi, that was awesome, man. By the way, thank you guys. Just write down buy, I'll close my session. Thank you. See you again, guys. Bye bye.